Scott Holliday here, and welcome back to Plus 2 Wrestling. Do you want to see something funny? Check this out.
Now, oh no! They got it handled. If you're hearing me in the back, everything's handled.
He's got his mouth and his head
on the turnbuckle, like the metal screw turnbuckle.
No!
God!
He just drives his face into that metal. There is no padding on that. That is just straight up metal. That went directly into the mouth, the face of the spoiler.
The spoiler is dead, so we will never see the spoiler ever again. And now let's plug in. We start with a YouTube alert. What you just saw comes from the High Tension Wrestling Boiling Point show, which all episodes are available right now on the High Tension Wrestling Network YouTube channel. So be sure, after you're done watching this, to head on over to HTW Network on YouTube and watch all 6 episodes of Boiling Point. On top of that, I also want you to head over to SPO Wrestling's YouTube channel, where you can check out the first 3 episodes of Trip TV. There you can see everything that went down at Uneffin' Necessary and find out what's up next for SPO Wrestling. August 23rd, it is the first show ever put on by Paranormal Pro Wrestling. It is All Is Subject to Change 78, located at the VFW Post 8348 in Greater Barrington, Massachusetts. This is going to be a fantastic show. It is 21 plus though, so be sure to get there. Join us for the Arm Bar, a wrestling-themed bar, and then a fantastic show. The doors open at 8 o'clock, the bell rings at 9 o'clock, and there you will see Ben the Bean take on the Age of Aquarium. This is going to be a very unique show that you're not going to want to miss, so be sure to join us in Greater Barrington. And, jump cut, the very next day, Paranormal Wrestling puts on the Festival of Friendship, a free show for all ages located at 48 Main Street in Sheffield, Massachusetts. There you will see a 12 trio tag team tournament. That is a lot of T's. It's going to be a fantastic show. The festival starts at 10 a.m. There's going to be lots of activities. You can build your own lucha mask, and then the wrestling starts at 1:30. And again, it's free. So join us in Sheffield, Massachusetts for the Festival of Friendship. So today on my soapbox, I went and I looked back through some of my past videos, and I've already done the 5 things that tag team wrestlers need to stop doing, and the 5 moves wrestlers need to stop doing. And today I thought I'd get a little bit more hardcore. So today I'm breaking down the 5 weapons that need to stop being used in professional wrestling. Number 1, random debris. So this is kind of a soft one to start us off. These are all a category of weapon that I think you can justify, but for the most part just bother me. When a no DQ or an Extreme Rules or a hardcore match is being introduced, naturally the wrestler will eventually look under the ring for weapons. And a lot of the weapons that they pull out make sense to be there. Oh, a toolbox. They had to, put the ring together, so a toolbox is under there. That makes sense. We keep our extra chairs and tables under the ring. Okay, I can get behind that. We put a ladder under the ring because after the show we're going to have to pull the lights down, so we need a ladder to get the lights down. Okay, I can understand that. Where I start to lose it is, under the ring. That's where we keep our stop sign. Why would you ever have that? And just for the record, I can justify a stop sign if they're having a street fight, and part of the stipulation is we put things like stop signs around the ringside area to create that street fight feel. Sure, that's fine. Use a stop sign all you want. The wrestler in the match knew it was Extreme Rules, so they brought a shopping cart full of goodies to use in the match. Sure, that's fine as well. Use the stop sign all you want. It's when someone just randomly looks under the ring for a weapon and happens to stumble upon something that shouldn't be there that I get upset. My number one gripe would be is when someone looks under the ring and pulls out a kendo stick. There is no reason for a kendo stick to be under the ring other than being used as a weapon. And if they were just randomly searching for weapons, why was it there in the first place? Why are kendo sticks even in the world of professional wrestling? Well, here's an unexpected history lesson for you. We have one person to blame for kendo sticks in professional wrestling, and it's not even a wrestler. It's probably a name you don't know. It's Michael Peter Fay. You see, way back in 1994, Michael went to Singapore, and he was sentenced due to some criminal mischief that he took place in Singapore to 6 strokes with a rattan cane. The rattan cane then got the nickname the Singapore cane. And there was a debate about whether an American should have to suffer such a terrible fate. And the world of wrestling was like, you know what? We can use this. So Paul E. Dangerously in ECW booked the first ever Singapore cane match. It was the Sandman versus Tommy Dreamer, before Tommy Dreamer was known as an hardcore icon. And in the match, it was less about using the Singapore cane as a weapon. It was the loser of the match had to suffer being caned, the same way that Michael Peter Fay did in Singapore. And this is what started the Sandman having the signature weapon of the Singapore cane. Eventually, this news story stopped being in the public consciousness, and the name Singapore cane was kind of strange and seemed, out of place, so it was replaced with another name, which was the kendo stick. And it makes sense that people like Shida bring the kendo stick to the ring, so it is used. But other than being used as a weapon, it really serves no purpose in the world of wrestling. So just having them random under the ring is something we need to stop. If you want to use a kendo stick, make sure you justify it. Number 2, the sledgehammer. Yes, the signature weapon of Triple H, the sledgehammer. So many people have suffered under the weight of the sledgehammer. The problem is, Triple H apparently has never seen someone in construction use a sledgehammer. Looking good, fellas. Looking good, fellas. We're getting a lot of work done here before lunch. Things are looking good. Oh, you need that? You need that hammered in? Don't worry. I got my sledge right here. I'll hammer that for you. So it doesn't make sense that someone would be given a sledgehammer and their first instinct would be to put their hand over top of it and use it like a pool cue. No, you would swing it like a hammer, and I understand that if you were to swing a sledgehammer like a hammer in a professional wrestling match, it would kill someone. And that's exactly why we should not be using it. If you can't use it correctly or the way you would instinctively use it, it has no place being in a professional wrestling match. Now that Triple H is happily running the company, I think it's time to retire the sledgehammer as a weapon. On top of that, it gets you disqualified in Hell in a Cell matches. Number 3, cinder blocks. Cinder blocks are large concrete bricks that we use to build houses and buildings. And when they're used in wrestling, they're weapons that immediately explode into dust. When Shane McMahon used a cinder block on the Big Show's leg, it exploded into powder, which you would think that bricks would be stronger than bone, but that's apparently not the case. Eric Bischoff used it to show his martial arts prowess and kicked one into a fine powder. This shouldn't happen. We, as wrestling fans, know what cinder blocks are. And we know that they don't crumble that way. If that was true, we could walk up to any building and just kind of give it some palm strikes and bring the whole building down. It lacks any credibility because as soon as you see it explode into powder, you know that it's not a real cinder block. Like, there are ways you can use cinder blocks that are okay. And oddly, one of them is when you use it in conjunction with a sledgehammer. If you want to do the old Carney trick in a death match that happens to have these very extreme weapons, and you put a cinder block over someone and you smash it with a sledgehammer, sure, you could do that because it makes sense that a sledgehammer could break a cinder block, not just you swinging it at a guy. And if you want to use them as weapons, that's fine. Don't use real cinder blocks and bash each other over the head with them. I've seen far too many injuries with that. But if you want to use them as a platform like Seth Rollins did and slam people onto them and do your stomp onto them, we as wrestling fans know that that's a solid platform. The fact that it is a solid, unforgiving platform is what makes it make sense. If you have it crumble, it doesn't make sense. And if you want to build a tower in like a death match and put weapons in between it, like barbed wire or light tubes, that's fine. Well, it's almost fine. Number 4, the T8 light tube. Light tubes are legitimately one of the most dangerous weapons used consistently in independent wrestling. And that is because it is a great effect when a light tube is smashed. And like all things in professional wrestling, there's a very safe trick on how to use them. I mean, it's so safe that even Paul Rudd took one.
Scientific work.
Dude, new pants, man.
But the key to this is knowing how to do it safely. There is a bit of a trick to it, and a lot of people don't realize that. As a matter of fact, you can find a lot of videos on YouTube of people trying to do what is done in that 40-year-old virgin clip, and they don't know how to work with light tubes, and they're getting seriously injured. There is a specific way to use light tubes, and I'm not going to reveal all the tricks of the trade when it comes to light tubes, but I will say this. If someone wants to do a light tube spot, it's important that you use a T12 light tube because they're a bit wider and there's more air, which allows them to snap easier. The T8 are a bit tighter, which means that they don't break as easy because they're more concise and more constricted, so it takes more energy to break them. If you took a T12 light tube and broke the end off of it and then stabbed someone with it, it would suck because basically as you applied pressure, it would shatter with each bit of pressure, putting tiny shards of glass into their skin, but not too deep. If you were to do the same spot with a T8 and stab them, you might as well be using a broken bottle because instead of shattering, it's just going to go deeper and deeper and deeper into their flesh. It is a common mistake to think, oh, I've seen light tubes used a bunch of times. They've been used a lot in the world of professional wrestling. It must not be that bad. And not do the research or not have the training to use light tubes correctly. And the biggest mistake I see is using the wrong ones. Never use T8 light tubes. Number 5, the gas can. Okay, so to clarify, when Eddie Kingston came out in Anarchy in the Arena, covered in blood, holding a gas can, it is one of my favorite visuals I've ever seen in professional wrestling. Just this bloody, insane man bent on destruction. I dug it. And then in Blood and Guts, when Darby brought out the gas can and covered the scapegoat Jack Perry in gasoline, it was still effective. We were worried, and they called for the bell before anything insane could happen. But that's twice now, AEW, where you've brought out the gas can and you didn't deliver someone being lit on fire. And I don't want to see people lit on fire. I was there when they shot Jack Perry with the flamethrower, and it was a cool spot. But the vibe in the arena went from, this is a really fun, silly match, to, ooh, I hope, oh, this is starting to get uncomfortable. So if you're bringing out the gas can, you don't want to send the message to your audience that, oh, this isn't going to happen. You know, Chekhov's gun needs to fire on occasion. And I think you've used, and by you I mean AEW, have used the gas can correctly now. But now it needs to go away. You can do something twice and have it be effective, but if you bring it out a third time, you kind of have to light someone on fire. You can't have Chekhov's gun misfire for a third time. The third time is the charm, after all. And I'd rather, personally, you not light somebody on fire. So for those reasons, I think it's time to stop breaking out the gas can. And there it is, 5 weapons I think should stop showing up in hardcore or extreme or death matches. What do you think? Is there a weapon that you think needs to be expelled from the world of wrestling? Please leave that in the comments down below. Is there another 5 things you want me to kick out of the world of wrestling? Leave that in the comments down below. And also be sure to subscribe right here to Plus2 Wrestling so you get a notification next time I go live. And I hope you have a great day. Tyler Ferguson.